Hey guys, this is Gap MTG here with a deck tech. This is black white token, with a splash of red. So I'll just go over the cards I have in here. So we have two Boros Guildgates. So that's red white. Enters the battlefield tapped. Okay, then we have one Sajiri Step. I just added that in there because I just had an extra white land that had an effect. Might as well. So okay. Then we have one mountain, because once again I'm splashing red, so we have three red sources of red mana. And then we have plains, because it's a black-white. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plains. Then we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 swamps. And the reason I put one less plain than swamps is because we have the Boros Guildgate, so we still have one more source of white than black. Okay, so we also have a playset of Doom Traveler. So this is a 1-drop, and when it dies, you put 1/1 white spirit creature token flying onto the battlefield. So this is just good for early game. And also you can, if you want to sacrifice it, you get a 1/1 flying evasion, token as a replacement. So that's definitely a good 1-drop. And then we have Falcon Rat Torture, which is one of the main strengths, main combos of our deck. So basically, it's sacrifice a creature, Falcon Rat Torture gains flying until the end of the turn, and if the creature was a human, put a 1/1 counter on it. And since this is primarily a human and human token deck, this card gels well with it, and it starts off as a 2/1. And once again, the counters are permanent, but the flying is not. So we have a playset here. And then we have a playset of Village Cannibals. So this is a 2/2 for 3 mana. Whenever another human creature dies, put a 1/1 counter on Village Cannibals. So this combos with Falcon Rat Torture. If you sacked a human for Falcon Rat Torture, it would get a +1/+1 counter and flying till the end of the turn. This would also get a +1/+1 counter. Starts off as a 2/2. So, and then we have a plate set of Elder Cathar, and this is a good human creature to sacrifice, because when it dies, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. If that creature was a human, put two 1/1 counters on that instead. So if you have a certain human that you're building up with counters or is just very powerful at the moment, you can add this and sack it at the same time for Falcon Rat Torture. Okay. So we also have two Gold Knight Commanders. So this is whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, creatures you control get +1/+1 until the end of the turn. So this is basically a temporary Cathar's Crusade, and it's a 2/2 creature for 4. Sorry. And then we have two Mausoleum Guards. I honestly don't know how to pronounce that because I'm stupid. But basically, it's a 2/2 for 4. When it dies, put two 1/1 white spirit creature tokens with flying onto the battlefield. So we have two of those. So that's once again a card to sack, and it gets replaced with two 1/1 evasions. So this is good. So basically, the primary mechanic of this deck is sacrificing creatures to make certain creatures stronger, and then you have a bunch of evasion tokens to get past their creatures with. So we also have two Geistdowner Monks. So this is a rare. It's 5-drop, and it's a human monk. So it has vigilance first of all, so that can come into handy. And also, Geistdowner Monk's power and toughness are each equal to the number of creatures you control. So once again, if you have a bunch of evasion tokens, or just tokens in general, on the battlefield, this will be very powerful. And also, when it enters the battlefield, it generates two 1/1 flying spirit tokens. So this is good. So because it's a 5-drop, and when it enters the battlefield, it's at least a 3/3. And then you also have two 1/1 flyings, and you'll most likely with this deck have a lot of creatures already. So let's put it there. Then we have 3 Gather the Townsfolk. I would recommend getting a playset of this. I couldn't get my hands on a 4th one, but basically it generates 2 1/1 white human creatures onto the battlefield for 2 mana. So it's good early game and late game because Fateful Hour. So if you have 5 or less life, put 5 of those tokens onto the battlefield instead. So 2 mana for 5 tokens, definitely a good deal. It would help Geistonner Monk, and if you want to sack them, helps Falconwrath and Village Cannibals. And then we have a playset of Lingering Souls. So this is a sorcery. Put a 1/1 white spirit, or put 2 1/1 white spirit creature tokens onto the battlefield that have flying, and it's a 3-drop, and it has a flashback cost of 2. Now, since we're playing a white-black here, this is good because its original cost is 2 generic mana and 1 plains, but its flashback is 1 generic and 1 black, so you can, if you have an equal number of each, it's easier to play than if you only have like plains, for example. So if you have 5 mana, it's a 4 1/1 flying generator, so that's pretty good. We'll just put them here. Then we have Assemble the Legion. So this is why we splash red in our deck. I wanted 2 of these in my deck, but once again, I couldn't get my hands on a second one. But we have one for you here. So it's a rare from Gatecrash enchantment for 1 red, 1 white, and 3 generic. So at the beginning of your upkeep, put a muster counter on Assemble the Legion. Then put a 1/1 red and white soldier creature token with haste onto the battlefield for each muster counter on Assemble the Legion. So what that does is the first upkeep after this is played, it generates 1. The next upkeep 2, then 3, then 4, and it just gets a whole bunch of soldier creatures tokens on the battlefield, so it helps Geistonner, and it's just good for a token deck. Then we have 3 Cathar's Crusade. I think this is a good amount. You can make it a playset if you want to. I have 3, and I'm probably not going to get a 4th one. And whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. So it's basically a permanent version of the Geist-Honored Monks, and it is amazing for a token deck. Yeah, so, and, it's a permanent version of Gold Knight Commander, not Geist-Honored Monk. So, sorry about that. Put those here. Then we have Commander's Authority. This is optional in your deck. It's a 5-drop enchant creature. Enchanted creature has, at the beginning of your upkeep, put a 1/1 white human creature token onto the battlefield. So it's not as good as Assemble the Legion, definitely, but yeah, it's not as good as Assemble the Legion. That's why it's optional, but once again, just a generator that you can just throw into your deck. And then we have Elbrus the Blinding Blade. This is completely, you really don't need it for this deck, but I thought it would be good because if you're getting so many evasion 1/1 tokens, like the spirits, you can just attach it onto one of them and just poke the opponent, and it transforms into a 13/13 flying, intimidate, trample, and whenever a player loses the game, put 13 1/1 counters on Withengar Unbound. So this is an amazing mythic from Dark Ascension. And I think it's pretty good for a token deck, but it's probably better for an evasion. But yeah, so that is the black-white token deck. Hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely follow this build if you want to make a human deck. It's good for just having really powerful creatures, and then a bunch of evasion 1/1s. So it's a black-white with a splash of red. If you like this video, comment, rate, and subscribe. This is Gap MTG signing out.